A struggling single dad named Michael was looking for his daughter in the mall when he heard someone call his name. He turned around to see a beautiful woman smiling at him and holding out her hand. "Are you Michael?" she asked. Michael nodded. The woman introduced herself as Olivia and said that she had something important to tell him about his daughter. But before he could ask any questions, she suddenly fell to the ground, clutching her chest and gasping for air. Michael rushed to her side and called 911, while the girl who had been calling out his name disappeared into the crowd. At the hospital, doctors worked frantically to save Olivia's life, but it was too late. She was pronounced dead before Michael could even get there. As he stood over her lifeless body, he couldn't help but feel a sense of guilt. He had let her down so many times, and now she was gone forever. But what did she want to tell him about his daughter? Why did she keep calling his name before she died? Is it a coincidence or something more sinister? To make matters worse, the police were investigating Olivia's death as a possible murder, and they suspected that Michael was involved somehow. Was he really a killer, or was he just a grieving father trying to find answers? As the investigation continued, Michael began to piece together the events leading up to Olivia's death and uncovered a shocking truth about his daughter and himself. Could he protect his daughter from the same fate as her mother, or would he end up behind bars for her murder as well? Michael was a hard-working single father who had always done his best for his daughter Emma. Even though he struggled financially, he made sure that she never went without food or a place to stay. When Emma was just a baby, her mother left them, and Michael never saw her again. So he raised Emma on his own, doing his best to be both a mother and a father to her. One day, Michael and Emma were shopping in the mall when he suddenly realized that he had misplaced his wallet. He frantically searched his pockets, but it was nowhere to be found. "Emma, honey, I think we need to go home," he told her. "I lost my wallet, and we don't have enough money to buy you those shoes." Emma looked at the shoes in her hands and sighed. "It's okay, Daddy," she said. "I understand. We can go home now." Just then, Emma felt a tap on her shoulder and turned around to see a beautiful woman smiling at her. "Are you Michael's daughter?" the woman asked. Emma nodded. "I'm here to see him," the woman said. "Can you take me to him?" Before Emma could respond, a man's voice called out her name. "Emma, where are you?" Michael came rushing over, and his face lit up when he saw the woman standing next to Emma. "Olivia," he breathed. It was clear that they had known each other at some point. "Olivia," Emma repeated, confused. Why did this woman know her name? As Olivia and Michael embraced, Emma couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Something about Olivia that made her uncomfortable, but she couldn't put her finger on it. "Michael, we need to talk," Olivia said, her voice low and serious. "There's something I need to tell you about Emma." Before Michael could respond, Olivia suddenly clutched her chest and gasped for air. "Michael, help me," she whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Michael rushed to Olivia's side and called 911 while Emma watched in horror. At the hospital, doctors worked frantically to save Olivia's life, but it was too late. She was pronounced dead before Michael could even get there. As he stood over her lifeless body, he couldn't help but feel a sense of guilt. He had let her down so many times, and now she was gone forever. And why did she keep calling his name before she died? Was it a coincidence or something more sinister? The police were called to the scene, and they began to investigate Olivia's death. They questioned Michael, Emma, and anyone else who had been in contact with Olivia in the days leading up to her death. But no one seemed to have any answers. Olivia's death was ruled a mystery, and the case was closed. Michael was devastated. Not only had he lost his ex-girlfriend, but he was now being investigated for her murder. He knew that he wasn't a killer, but how could he prove it? Determined to find the truth, Michael decided to take matters into his own hands. He began to dig into Olivia's past and uncovered a shocking truth about her. Olivia wasn't just a regular woman. She was the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, and she had been living a double life. No wonder she had seemed familiar to him. Michael had seen her face in the news before. She had been involved in several high-profile cases, and her name had been in the headlines many times. But she had never mentioned any of this to him. Why? Michael continued to investigate, and he soon uncovered another shocking truth. Olivia had been followed for weeks before her death. Someone had been stalking her and taking pictures of her without her knowledge. But who would want to do that? What did it have to do with Emma? Michael was determined to find the answers, but as he delved deeper into the mystery, he put himself in more danger. He received anonymous threats, and his car was vandalized. It was clear that someone didn't want him digging up the past. But Michael wasn't about to give up. He owed it to Olivia and to Emma to find out the truth. As Michael got closer to the truth, he discovered that Olivia had been murdered. But who could have done such a thing? The police were called in, and they began to investigate, but they hit a wall. There was no evidence and no leads. Michael was desperate, but he wasn't about to give up. He had come too far to stop now. Michael decided to go back to the beginning and start from scratch. He went through Olivia's belongings and found a hidden flash drive. On the flash drive was a video message from Olivia. In the message, Olivia explained that she had been followed for weeks and that she was afraid for her life. She also revealed that she had a secret that she had been keeping from Michael. She was Emma's biological grandmother. Michael was shocked. He had no idea that Emma had a grandmother. And if Olivia was her grandmother, then who was her mother? Olivia continued to explain that she had been searching for Emma for years, but she had been unable to find her. She'd finally tracked Michael down, and she wanted to tell him the truth. She'd planned to reveal herself to Emma and become a part of her life. But someone had found out about her plan, and they were determined to stop her. Michael was horrified. Who would want to keep Emma away from her grandmother? And why, as Michael processed this new information, he suddenly remembered something. He had seen a woman who looked like Emma at the mall, but he had dismissed it. He thought that it was just a coincidence. But what if it wasn't? Michael returned to the mall and spoke to the security guard. He showed the guard a picture of Emma and asked if he had seen her. The guard's face lit up. "Of course I remember her," he said. "She comes here all the time. But she's not your daughter, is she?" Michael was taken aback. "How do you know that?" he asked. The guard leaned in and whispered, "Because she's not a kid, she's an adult." Michael was shocked. He had been looking for his young daughter, but Emma was all grown up. If she was here at the mall, then who was the little girl he had been raising? Suddenly it all made sense. Michael remembered the day that Olivia had died. He had gotten a call from the hospital saying that Emma was in a coma and they needed him to come in. He had rushed to the hospital, but when he got there, he was told that Emma was fine. He had been so worried and confused, but he had never questioned it. Michael had been raising Olivia's daughter for years, but he had never met her mother. That's because Olivia had given birth to another daughter after she left Michael. She had named her Emma, after her own mother. When Olivia died, her second daughter, who had been named after her, took on her mother's identity and became the new Olivia. She had been living as her mother's replacement, and Michael had been none the wiser. Michael was overwhelmed with emotion. He had been raising his dead daughter all these years, but he had never known it. He felt guilty for not being able to protect his daughter and for not being able to say goodbye to her when she died. He also felt angry. Angry at Olivia for lying to him, angry at himself for not being able to protect his daughter, and angry at the world for being so cruel. In the end, Michael had to come to terms with the fact that his daughter was gone, and there was nothing he could do to bring her back. He had to learn to live with the guilt and the grief, knowing that he had loved and lost his daughter. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new stories. See you next time.